Hello everyone, and long time no see for many people on here, and hello from new people that should be watching this video. In today's video, I'm not going to be unboxing something, I'm going to be actually reviewing a car. And as we all know right now, this is a Hyundai Elantra, and if you already know by the channel name, it's already given. This is the 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL with the convenience package, and this model has a lot of features that I was expecting to see, especially from like this not being a limited model, and it's still starting at around like $28,000. Now for this version of the Elantra, you do have the SE trim, which I do think starts around like 21,000. The SEL, which is a little bit more around 22, 23. This model itself is around, I've seen about 25, 27. I have seen some dealers give some discounts on some of these, and you can get this, version of it for the price of an SEL without the convenience package. Limited starts around 28,000. You still get an inline, which is the more sportier version of this car, around 28, 29. Elantra N, which is 33,000, I believe, for the manual transmission, and then about 38, 39 for the, or I think it's a little bit less for the dual clutch automatic transmission. Now, taking a look at this car, this is in a really nice silver that I like. I believe this is the fluid metal color for this vehicle. I don't really know the color names as well, but for this version of it, you do get actual rims, so no hubcaps. I think that's standard even for the SE models. You look like you get full-on disc brakes all around, judging by the very shiny and very new brake calipers. As you can see, especially for this being like now considered like a mid-size sedan, it's not exactly a compact, but it's also not actually like a full-size one as well. If you think of something like the Sonata, it's a little bit larger and it's a little bit more, has a little bit more power to it, especially when you get like the inline Sonata. And this one is still keeping its economy look with a lot more plastics here and some things on the inside that are, definitely a downgrade from the Sonata, but aren't really that much of a complaint. And with this being the now facelift version for the 2025, you still have the rear look from a lot of the first models that came out, I think, 2021. And funny enough, for this SEL convenience, I thought it did come with like the feature where you can actually like kick underneath it to open the trunk, but it doesn't. And instead of actually doing that, you can just press the button here and then it just opens up. And then looking at the trunk here, dude, like even for, I just actually did some laundry, but for the trunk itself, the size of it, I know you can't really see it because I got all the stuff here, but it's not a bad size, even for something like this mid-size. And as you can see, here's the driver's side. So we do have the gas cap on the side, and then for something like the door handles, we do have more of a chrome going up to where the actual lights go. And I actually really super love this design right here. Love what they did. You don't get chrome handles, and I think that's the case for all of these, including the limited as well. And for these door handles, I believe for the limited, and I think a little bit higher, you actually get more of a capacitive button, and compared to this one actually being a physical button. And that's the same would be for the other side, on the passenger side. Coming back up to the front, and I mean, I definitely love what they did with the changes on the front. Now, for when the 2020 or the pre-facelift models came out, the front wasn't too bad. I just felt like it was too exposed of black, and especially when you look at something like the Elantra N for the pre-facelift models. And I think one thing this car was definitely needing was like front LED lights. So it has two front daytime running lights that are also LED. The turn signals, as you can see, are also LED, and then they also have LED fog lights. Then looking more at the front, which looks like when I got this from Avis, they didn't finish taking off like the protective wrapper. You do get like this grille. I love this design, like how they were able to swoop this in below compared to the previous design where it was like some of the lights were LED, but the turn signals were incandescent. And then for a lot of these newer Hyundais, especially for like the Ioniqs, you get more of this matte finish emblem, and the emblems are much larger, and you can definitely see it from afar away. Like, look at that. For the SEL, and I was actually surprised for this, for it being a rental car, it comes with a sunroof. And the sunroof itself is actually your standard sunroof. You don't get something, I believe the Sonata has like a full-on panoramic roof, or I think that's one of the Ioniqs, or both of the Ioniqs, but standard sunroof for this vehicle. And overall, this is just like really an impressive car for what you get for the money. I know the Civic might be around this price, and I think that's the same for goes for maybe like the Corolla or whatever Toyota equivalent class vehicle would go with the Elantra. But for what this thing has on the inside, man, when I was driving the Corolla, especially that being like a base, it's night and day difference. Okay, I would also suggest, if you're living in certain areas, that you get a good old set of some wheel locks, because depending on where you live, yeah, they're selling them. All right, just press that to unlock it. And then taking a look just from the outside, this is the driver's side, obviously. I mean, why wouldn't it be? And looking right here on the inside of the door, you do get like this swoop design that I really like with the doors. And I am a little bit confused on how to get to the door handle sometimes, but it's not too bad. Then if we take a look to the back, which obviously has had no one ever said in it, I don't believe, it's about a different design here. It feels a little bit more cheaper compared to the to the driver's side. So I'm 6'4", and my seat is pretty much set all the way back to the max that it can go. And so if I were to get into the back seat as a 6'4" dude, yeah, this probably wouldn't work. Did it be considered like height for my head above it? Yeah, it's like grazing the ceiling, and I actually just got a haircut, so forgive me. But it's cool to know that you actually get 2 USB-C cables here, which is funny enough because I'm going to show you why it's real funny in a minute because I don't want to spoil it. I love this interior. This is the one thing I love about this car. I mean, besides it being the Elantra, of course, but this is the one thing I love about this car. Now, when you get in the vehicle with the key in your pocket, you do get like this cool animation between the digital gauges and the actual infotainment. And coming around here, there is always this handle right here that people always talk about. I still think it's pretty interesting design. Passenger side is a little more cut off, and this is more of like a cockpit view, which super cool. Same design for the doors. For the driver's side, going for the passenger. And with this being the actual black interior, I believe there is actually an accent difference between if you were to get like the lighter gray interior from the passenger side door and the driver's side entire infotainment area. Now, one of the things I definitely do like about this car is that it comes with climate control. So you have automatic, and you can sync it up with the actual passenger or yourself and have them not complain about it. And I guess with this being in the way, it is kind of like an annoyance. I would guess if you were to sit right here and try to control it, like having to go over it, but you know, it's fine. Some of the little doodads here. This transmission here is not a CVT. It's actually called an intelligence variable transmission. And I need to really research on what else it does. It really just feels like a standard CVT. And actually, matter of fact, let me just, before I continue, just actually go ahead and turn on the car. Why not? Look at that. And yes, this is indeed a new car. It only has like 1,300 miles on it. This is the lowest mile of car I've ever driven in my 23 years of living. So here is the gauges, and I really like this design layout. And then some of the features that this vehicle has adaptive cruise control, which actually have to turn on, or they call it smart cruise control, that I have to turn on, I think because I have to be speeding. Has lane keep assist with the steering wheel, so it'll actually keep your steering wheel going while you're going within the lane. So, and this is actually a feature that I found in the base model Corolla as well. This feature here, I'm not too familiar with the name of it, but as you're driving and let's say you're not engaging with the vehicle, and if it believes that you're about to maybe, you know, kind of creeping, or you're just kind of letting the vehicle coast, it'll begin to slow itself down, even I believe without like a cruise control being on. So within this infotainment, you can swap between some of the things here. I think it's this button right here. Yeah. So you can swap between going to the speed and then actually use this, I believe, to go between, oh yeah, here we go. Certain settings like trip, you can do like refueling. So it's a lot of that information there. Current trip, I thought it should show more. I should show more, but okay. And then when you have navigation enabled, then it'll actually show you the navigation or something like the compass here. Then some other things here, such as like the vehicle's tire pressure. Now, getting to this infotainment. I love this screen. It feels like a Lucid. I sat in a Lucid not so long ago. It feels like a Lucid screen in a way, but it's not exactly there. How intuitive it is and how responsive it is, very cool. I love it. I still try to figure out what the world Hyundai Pay does, but a lot of the settings within here are really easy to maintain and manage and get to. And funny enough, this thing actually, you can control the climate through the infotainment. But I mean, it's like, it's right here. Does it really matter? No. But if you do change, like, let's say the driver's side or the passenger side, if you want to go like high, it'll change. I enjoyed how they laid out the UI. Not many car makers really get a UI that is down to this level. I mean, it looks like a Tesla, bro. And then you can also have like certain profiles, which, I mean, I haven't messed around with, so that's cool. Now, look, I'm 6'4". And I've set the seat all the way back, and I still get adequate leg room between the steering wheel compared to like my 2003 back at home. And this steering wheel itself is electronic power steering, which is another plus with this vehicle, just another luxury above a luxury. Steering wheel is a leather wrapped, which I believe this is more of like a pleather in a way. I mean, it feels like leather, but at the same time it doesn't, but it's at least nicer over the standard boring. Some of the settings that you can play right here. So you have auto hold, which when you're sitting at a stoplight while the vehicle is in drive and you press on the brake a little more, the vehicle will actually hold itself to the fact that you can let go of the brake and it will keep the rear brake lights on. You got like parking, electronic parking brake. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Yeah, it's pretty, I can't put it back now, but it's loud. I don't really like the noise to it. You can actually look at the rear backup camera. Like, how cool is that? Like, what? Unfortunately, you can only do this when you're parked, which is annoying because I feel like if you wanted to get the place of someone like tailgating you, this would be an amazing feature. And even for the camera, dude, like look at the backup camera. Like that's great quality. My friend, he actually has a Nissan Sentra, and when he was reversing, I really complained about like the backup camera quality being terrible. And Hyundai, they got like this fisheye lens. It look like they got an iPhone strapped to the back of it in a way. Then of course you have your certain drive modes. So this is the normal drive mode, and funny enough, this will actually change with it, and I actually have to go into settings to make sure it changes because I've seen it in other reviews. So right now we're in normal. Go to sport, which sport is insane on this car in my opinion. And then we also have smart. And actually really other cool thing with this car as well, if you change the drive modes, and you can actually enable this in the settings on the infotainment, it'll change the ambient light. Like if we go to normal, okay, it's off, you can't really see it because it's also still a little bit sunlight out. But if we go to sport, oh shoot, but if we go to sport, look at that. I love that. It just if it wrapped around this car more, I would love it even more. I would just always be in sport mode. Really deep cup holders here, dude. Like I could put like my, whoa, okay, actually, sorry about that. But you could put like a Stanley cup and then still be able to put like a go-go squeeze or something in here. And okay, let me stop. But large cup holders, I believe you can swap them out. I don't see the little position thingy that sits in the middle that you can. So it's something that I think you can do on certain Elantras. And with this being a 2025, the only annoyance that I had once I got into this car, dude, this car supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and plus Bluetooth and other things that you can connect to it wirelessly. In Apple CarPlay, in 2025, this car still does not support wireless CarPlay, and I believe wireless Android Auto as well. And even not only that, it doesn't support it through USB-C. This is the cable that came with my phone, and this is only for charging, which indicated there what I saw. So I had to go buy a separate cable just to use with USB-C, and thankfully that gas station had one. I was surprised. But one of the things, it's like stepping into the new age era. Either have a USB-C or have a USB-C and work with wireless CarPlay. I don't know why this vehicle, I think it's something with their navigation. I've heard that a lot of them don't support wireless CarPlay. You do get heated seats, not cool. I think that's on the limited and up, or I think it just might be on the limited. A lot of options here, very limited and very minimal. I love the design of how they have it laid out. It's really good. And then I've kept seeing this because I always know people talk about it. This thing right here, which is supposed to be the sport mode button for the inline Elantra. So it does look kind of stupid. If it had like some like MagSafe support for a lot of these newer iPhones, I would love it even more. But then it's like you can't even see it from there because the steering wheel is also rather large. This is not a complete review of the vehicle. There's a lot more detailed reviews out here. A lot of the power and performance I've noticed within this vehicle is great. 140 horsepower. It does really what you need it to do. It's not a race car, it's not the Elantra N. But I've noticed even in sport mode how responsive and how long it will keep in higher revs in the IVT. It's a complete package. Like I really like this car, and even for the next 4 weeks that I've owned it until my internship ends, I'm hoping to learn a lot more about it. And I would not really hate, but I would hate to have to not consider buying one right now. I can't get a new car right now, but I have a summer with a 2025 car. I love it. It's a really attractive car, and many people know me for having these Elantras. So the fact that I had the opportunity to get one and now I want to make a YouTube video on it, so be it. You know, it's the summer of anything now. Thank you guys for watching. I know I might have missed out on a lot of information. This is still the 24 hours I've owned this vehicle. I've seen these things on the road. I think they've been very good looking vehicles, and they're also really popular, at least back at home. Here in California, the Ioniqs are more popular than like the Elantra or the Sonata from what I've seen. I've seen a lot of Elantra Ns. Seen many Elantra Ns down here. So if anyone in California got an Elantra N that I can at least test drive, it got to be automatic. I don't know how to drive a manual. Give me a shot. Okay, hit me up. All right, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hoping to have more videos about this vehicle out soon. I'm going through a move out process into an Airbnb, so it might be a little slow. We're going to take this thing out to Big Sur and then maybe LA in a few weeks. So I'll see how it drives by then. Peace.